The American Civil War. Injuries of the battle. Severe morphine drug addiction. This is all what led to the invention of the famous soft drink, Coca-Cola. It was the 16th of April 1865. American Civil War was coming to an end. The clash continued between Union and Confederates in Georgia. John Stith Pemberton, the Confederate colonel, got severely wounded in the clash. He was moved out of the battlefield and attended by the doctors. The doctors expected his injuries to be mortal and gave him a good amount of morphine to relieve him of his pain in his last hours. Morphine was the medication used for the relief of moderate to severe acute and chronic pain. Absolutely against what was expected by the doctors, John S. Pemberton survived. As he recovered from the injuries, thus continued the journey of his morphine-based treatment, or should I say, addiction. Before leaving for the war, Pemberton was a licensed chemist and druggist. Like many others from the Civil War, he became extensively dependent on morphine. Due to his profession, he had access to this drug. He started the research to find a cure for his addiction or an alternate to morphine. At this time, Vin Mariani, a kind of coca wine, was getting very famous in France. French chemist Angelo Mariani, the maker of this wine, claimed that King Leo XIII awarded his coca wine a gold medal. Pemberton tried the wine and produced his own version, Pemberton's French wine Coca Nerve Tonic. A strong shot of alcohol mixed with cocaine and extract from caffeine-containing cola nut. This was a hit. Things were never simple for Pemberton. As Pemberton's French wine Coca started to do well, a referendum to prohibit alcohol was approved in Atlanta. Let me remind you, alcohol was banned while cocaine was still fine as per law. Pemberton had to work on the coca wine to make it non-alcoholic. The wine was replaced by a sugary syrup. Accidentally, Pemberton added carbonated water to the drink, and this was it. This was the beginning of Coca-Cola. Pemberton carried a jug of the new product down the streets to Jacob's Pharmacy, where it was sampled, pronounced excellent, and placed on a sale for 5 cents a glass as a soda fountain drink. Pemberton's bookkeeper, Frank Robinson, coined the name Coca-Cola and penned the now famous trademark in its unique script. The word Coca stood for cocaine and cola for cola nuts that were used for the extraction of caffeine. This non-alcoholic drink was not a success in the beginning. As stated on the official Coca-Cola Company website, Dr. Pemberton never realized the potential of the beverage that he created. Pemberton was growing sick and was heavily dependent on morphine. He started to sell off parts of the company to sustain his family and his addiction. The majority of the stakes of the company were now owned by an investor, A.G. Candler, and 1/3 was left with Pemberton's son, Charles, also an opium addict. John Pemberton died of stomach cancer in August 1888 at the age of 57. He was struggling with poverty and crippling with morphine addiction. Unfortunately, his widowed wife and son Charles could not even enjoy the last 1/3 stake of Coca-Cola. In dire need of money due to his opium addiction, Charles Pemberton sold the remaining stake and patent to Candler. Charles Pemberton died around 6 years after his father's death with opium at his side. By 1929, Coca-Cola completely eliminated the use of cocaine in its products. but the coca flavor was still strongly associated to the company. Coca-Cola started using spent coca leaves. Spent coca leaves are the leftovers of the cocaine extraction process with trace levels of cocaine. What happened to the extracted cocaine? Well, the extracted cocaine is exported to hospitals. The secrecy behind the recipe for Coca-Cola is also one of a legend, which the company still maintains. When Ernest Woodruff bought the company from Candler in 1919, he took a secured loan to buy Coca-Cola. As a collateral, Woodruff made Candler's son write the recipe and placed it in a secure vault in GT Bank of New York. After the loan was repaid in 1925, Woodruff took the ownership of the recipe and placed it in Atlanta Bank vault where it sat for 86 years. The company moved the 125-year-old secret formula to a new home at the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta under a safe vault. If you plan on visiting the World of Coca-Cola, you'll get a chance to have a look at this vault, not the recipe of course. The company introduced a product with a different formula under the name New Coke in the year 1985. Which was said to be smoother, rounder, yet bolder. Rather than dividing the market share between the two recipes, they discontinued the classic old recipe altogether, which was kept in a safe vault till now. The result of this move was a tragedy for Coca-Cola. Company received more than 5,000 calls per day from angry customers. Shares of the company dropped on New York Stock Exchange. There were protests across the world by a number of groups. 79 days after this drastic move, old recipe had to be relaunched under the name Coca-Cola Classic. The new Coke was rebranded as Coke 2, which was eventually discontinued in 2002. Why this fiasco? Well, Coca-Cola as a brand still tops in the loyalty of the customers. The dark history behind the making of Coca-Cola, the unfortunate life of the Pembertons remains a lesser known part of this heritage. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Do press the bell icon for the notifications.